Hey dinner table, how you doing today? I want to keep this section brief, but I really want to apologize for how long it took me to get this breakdown out. Zelda month has been going great over at the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/dinnerpants if you're curious. We've been running through every mainline 3D title, from Ocarina of Time up to, as per the recording of this video, Twilight Princess. And we still have Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild to get through before the release of Tears of the Kingdom. All that is to say, again, extremely sorry for how long it's taking for this release to come out. And let's just get started. Like and subscribe if you want more Zelda content, or if you just want more content from me in general, and let me know down in the comments of the video what you want to see from me next. Okay, let's get started. Today I'm going to be going over what I found interesting, what we haven't seen yet. I may cross-reference my own breakdown or different trailers to help emphasize a point here and there, but I want to focus on what's new and, again, what I find exciting. Starting at 16 seconds, we see a sprawling shot of Hyrule focusing primarily on the Sky Islands. There's a tiny bright light on the cylindrical tower on the left. It looks like, based on the shape and orientation, it might be one of those little white pine cone looking bulbs that you see in Zonai architecture, but that's all it is to me. I have no other thoughts on it. At 19 seconds, we see a Zonai construct fighting with a blue chew jelly, emphasizing the fact that the combatant Zonai constructs are not evil or have any malice towards Link in particular, but are designed to defend the special trees and the Sky Islands in general from anything that may be perceived as a threat, including Link, including any of Ganon's minions. At 25 seconds, we see another shot of the Ranger construct attending to special Sky Island trees, again emphasizing that the Ranger Zonai construct's job is to attend to the Sky Islands, keep them nice and healthy. At 32 seconds, as Link dives into Hyrule proper, we do see that vile satchel on his hip that looks like it has 4 out of the 7 or 8 slots in that little satchel. My big assumption on what that could be, I don't think that's a container for any tears based on what we've seen in the trailer today, but I do think maybe that's the amount of active constructs he can have at one point. Maybe that signifies that he has 4 active at one point, possibly. Alluding at a game mechanic maybe, I'm not sure. At 43 seconds, we can hear the classic Zelda franchise theme mix in with the new song that we're hearing here during this trailer. And oh, it's so good. It gave me chills when I heard it at first, and even in reviewing this footage, it gives me chills right now. At 45 seconds, on the right side of the shot, we see 2 of those red illuminated structures. Possibly they're new shrine-like locations or something that's mechanically similar. I've seen those red landmarks scattered throughout Hyrule in earlier footage, gameplay footage, earlier trailers, and clearly they have some significance. I just can't nail down what right now. At 54 seconds, we get Hateno, and it has been mushroomed. Mushroom fashion everywhere, and a mushroom-based kiosk. I don't want to speak too much on LEAKS or anything that we may not know that we aren't meant to know yet, but I want you to think long and hard about what other Zelda universe race has mushroom homes and may not be visible to the naked eye in this shot. Just think on it. At 57 seconds, we see Castletown being rebuilt. Citizens of Hyrule are reoccupying Hyrule years later after the Calamity. Assume at around 3 or 4 years after Breath of the Wild is where this game takes place. We'll touch more on this reoccupation later. At 1 minute, 1 second, we see a circular stone construct that is new to the landscape, at least to my knowledge. If it isn't, please let me know in the comments below. There's no piecing together what it is, at least for me at this point. If anyone has any idea, let me know. Also, we see more of these green portals located all around Hyrule. My biggest assumption is that they might be portals to the underground, but it's more of a wait and see kind of deal with those as well. We also do see that circular stone construct in multiple places, in multiple shots throughout these trailers, and it makes me wonder how significant that specific landmark may be. I'm sorry that I'm drawing a blank on exactly what this is, but I know in a minute and 3 seconds, we see one of the prayer shrines that Zelda went to awaken her latent abilities. This shrine also looks familiar to one of the locations where you'd find stones at the end of temples in Skyward Sword. I believe they were the map stones in order to open up the sky to different ground level locations. Again, I'm deriving all of what I'm saying right now from memory. So again, if you want to correct me, feel free to do so nicely in my comment section. At 1 minute, 6 seconds, we see Thunderhead, or just a giant storm cloud located above the mountain peak that we see in this shot. I believe we are going to see more shots from this specific storm later in this trailer. At 1 minute, 11 seconds, we see a structure ascending from the desert that looks Zonai in origin. Is it possible that these will be our new quote-unquote main story dungeons that push narrative and progression? Who knows? But based on the amount that I'm seeing them and the places where I'm seeing them, I feel like that might be the case. At 1 minute 14 seconds, the upheaval is in full effect as Hyrule Castle rises from the ground and small stones with green energy start descending from the sky. Now, I didn't touch on this prior, but just to go over this as briefly as possible, on the Zelda website and on Nintendo's Twitter, this event has been labeled the upheaval, meaning pretty literally as the upheaval of Hyrule Castle and other things from the ground to reveal Ganondorf's real body. At 1 minute 20 seconds into the trailer, we see a gigantic blood moon being summoned by what we assume is Ganondorf. Now, there are a couple things we could be looking at here. Ganondorf could be undergoing a blending of his beast form and humanoid form, drawing directly from the power of Malice. This could also be Demise, but that's a hard stretch that I don't want to get into until later, but not an impossibility. We'll discuss this later on. All we can really see is that a Malice drenched figure is pulling the blood moon up from wherever it's been. At 1 minute 26 seconds, as Zelda falls into the depths, you see her clench her left hand as it glows golden along with her abdomen. I believe we see what she's clenching in her hand later in the trailer. At 1 minute 27 seconds, we see another shot of Lanayru Desert with an assumed portal to the underground on the right side and a lot of dark sinkholes scattered about. At 1 minute 29 seconds, we see Link sprinting towards a tall Zonai structure in the underground, wearing the Flame Breaker set from Breath of the Wild. This tall Zonai structure could again be what I alluded to earlier about being our main dungeon locations in this game. At 1 minute 31 seconds, now closer to the giant storm cloud that we saw earlier on top of the mountain, we see 4 flying ships, and based on their designs, they seem Rito in origin. The sources that I'm looking at to make that conclusion being the patterns on the sails primarily, and the fact that they're flying ships. What other race is focused on flying? 2 and 2 together, little bad, let me stop. At 1 minute 33 seconds, we see these green orbs enabling this water to form these spheres that Link is able to swim through. At this point in the trailer, we've seen the Goron area, the Rito, and the Zoras, all the different friendly races that Link has met so far. This clearly being the Zora area, not only known by the water, but the architecture of the islands that we see in the background seems Zora in origin. Also, notice Link's animation here. He's able to wade in open water. I'm not saying that this confirms underwater traversal or underwater exploration. However, what would be the point of him having that animation if he wasn't able to spend an extended period of time underwater? All I'm saying, all right? And at 1 minute and 34 seconds, we see Link diving down one of these Sheikah towers that he had to break in somehow. We also see the use of a wingsuit. I am extremely excited about using this item. Oh my god. It also looks Rito in origin, so I imagine the Ritos either gifted to him or he can craft it. Either way, wow. A wingsuit, like oh my god. At 1 minute 35 seconds, we see Link turning the surrounding walls of a spherical island until a hole meets a certain point wherever he's trying to do to solve the puzzle. Not clear in the footage where he needs this hole to end up. We also see a Zonai themed pachinko machine on that same island that he's on. I believe the Zelda website confirms that that pachinko machine will contain goodies for our hero. We don't know if he has to pay for it. We don't know if that's or how common these things are. I believe there is footage that shows that pachinko machine symbol on the map, so clearly they may be landmarks. We're not sure yet, but if you are, let me know in the comments below. At 1 minute 37 seconds, we see Link gliding through a puzzle maze similar to the Lamel Labyrinths, say that 10 times fast, in Breath of the Wild. At 1 minute 38 seconds, we see Link riding into combat at Fort Hateno, spinning a spear over his head. We also see other Hylian citizens armed with pot lids and bucket helmets in an effort to defend their land. More on what I assume this mechanic to be later. At 1 minute 41 seconds, this goat creature or dragon creature is the same one presented on the wall drawings during the first Tears of the Kingdom trailer. Is this a member of the Zonai race? We're not sure. Is this a dragon? We're also not sure. Maybe the first ever trusted champion of Hylia, explained in Skyward Sword's intro. Also on the left, there's a Rito Talon with a glowing jewel hooked around their ankle. Could this also be a tear? I think there's also a Greta figure on the right, and we can't really tell if that's a tear in their possession, but we do know that's a Goretto next to them. Not sure if there's any Goron representation in this photo either. Also, random note that I want to make, if you look at the dragon figure's head, you see an eye closed with a little tear painted in the center of the nose. That symbol looks eerily similar to the modern day Sheikah symbol that they used to represent their clan. All I'm saying, at 146, we see the big golem. This might be located in one of the towers that we see all across the landscape, or based on the starry night background, maybe just nighttime in a sky island. And these are one of the giant golems that we have to fight to attain some new ability, some new power, or just general story progression. Similar to the giant golem that we saw and fought in trailer 2. At 1 minute 48 seconds, this This is a sparkly, fully furnished Hyrule castle, specifically in the Sanctum. This fully furnished Hyrule castle was the seed implanted into my brain that made me start to believe in time travel being possible in this game. I know this is the first time I'm bringing it up. I know it's a big deal. I'm sorry that it's just randomly in the middle of the video, but we'll get deeper into why I think that later on. This covers from around 156 to 209 in the trailer. Zelda, after being separated from Link in her new outfit, is being spoken to by an unidentified person in what we can assume to be Zonai garb. He also has a tear crystal in his right hand that, while larger than Zelda's, seems to be the same color with a little bit of white trim on the outside. Zelda's tear being located on her neck. Speaking of, the tear on Zelda's neck has the same symbol that represents recall that we see in the gameplay that we only got days prior to this trailer coming out. I believe it was days, but correct me if I'm wrong. At 2 minutes 14 seconds, we see the Royal Claymore and Shield combo. Just more examples of how versatile Fuse will be. At 2 minutes 15 seconds, we see Link hovering over one of those sphere islands that we saw earlier in the trailer. Not sure if this is the only one or if there are more, but this is one of them. At 2 minutes 17 seconds, Goron's watch as Link does battle in one of their arenas. We assume it's one of theirs based on the lava and the Goron spectators on the side. Could they be testing Link, testing him to see if he can receive certain armor, certain weapons? Who knows? But it doesn't seem like a malicious fight, is my point. At 2 minutes 19 seconds, we see Tulin fly alongside Link in the storm cloud we saw earlier. Based on Link's animation here, he may be bouncing atop one of the Rito ship sails. The only reason I assume he's bouncing on them is because the tops of the Rito ships have a very taut cloth on the top of them. They look bounceable. That's all I'm saying. At 2 minutes 20 seconds, we see Link carry a carriage full of citizens that he seems to have made out of Ultra Hand. This being our third time seeing Link interact with civilians in this context. I think helping citizens rebuild our current Hyrule will be one of the primary mechanics throughout this game. And I do love me some life sim fort building management, so I'm really hoping that's the case. It's what it looks like, and I'm willing to be excited about it preemptively because I think that's what we're getting. At 2 minutes 26 seconds, Link fuses his shield with a Zonai rocket to take flight. More examples of how creative you can get with these tools. Also, does this remind anyone of the rockets in 3D Sonic games? At 2 minutes 30 seconds, we see Link do these low gravity moon jumps across these platforms. Based on not having seen the animation prior, I assume these specific platforms enable Link to do things like that. At 2 minutes 32 seconds, Link is seen fighting another Zonai construct, but this is the first time that we see one underground. It also has a unique horn design, and we can see the architecture in the background looks like another Zonai facility. At 2 minutes 34 seconds, we see Ultra Hand mech battles, and they look stellar. Wonder if you'll be able to ascend through stone taluses to get to the top of the bases. At 2 minutes 37 seconds, Link draws a bow with a red jewel at the tip. Maybe this is meant to emulate a fire arrow because the animation that goes off as he pulls the string looks like that. Also, the horse is wearing armor. Does that imply that we're going to get more customization options for our horse? Saddles, armor, different accoutrements? We'll see. At 2 minutes 39 seconds, Link built a laser array out of miscellaneous parts and activated it with an arrow. Fuse is going to be really cool, y'all, I promise. Or Ultra Hand, whatever you want to call it. It's cool. It's really cool. At 2 minutes 42 seconds, we see what is more than likely the cause of the massive storm. This is a giant unidentified ice monster. Tulin is still fighting alongside Link with the Shikab blue glow surrounding their body. Maybe this is a byproduct of the tear that Tulin may have in their possession. At 2 minutes 43 seconds, we see a glimpse of another Malice explosion, similar to what we saw in trailer 2. Still really curious as to why they keep showing this specific shot. No idea, but you know, something to think about. At 2 minutes 48 seconds, Zelda is shown post-fall with a close-up on the symbol on her tear, it matching with the recall symbol shown in recent gameplay that we got. Zelda also seems to be in Hyrule with no Malice and no Sky Islands to be seen. More on that later. At 2 minutes 52 seconds, Ganondorf sends a beam of Malice into the sky that stops once it touches the clouds. Could this be the same as the barrier that Hylia made between the sky and the ground during Skyward Sword? Could that be what Ganondorf is trying to break here? At 2 minutes 55 seconds, the Malice spawns more mobs and new Lionels. These Lionels vary in both horn shape and fur color. And at 3 minutes 3 seconds, we see Ganondorf in full form, skin and all. We also see the tear on his forehead glow orange. This wasn't in the trailer, but according to a new piece of artwork posted by the Nintendo website, the tear is a smoke gray color when it's unlit. At 3 minutes 6 seconds, we see a new unique enemy with a purple mouth that moves through goop like an inkling from Splatoon. Never seen anything like it, but it looks neat. At 3 minutes 9 seconds, we see a new unidentified character holding up their hand to draw energy from the tear that they're wearing on their neck. This woman resembles Zelda in hair/eye color and the pointy ears. And the outfit looks like what Zelda's wearing in the cutscenes that are shown in the trailer after the fall. The beam she casts from her hand is massive and able to take out multiple sand seals. At 3 minutes 12 seconds, we finally see Riju use their lightning abilities. At 3 minutes 13 seconds, we see a group of Hylians, Gerudo, and Gorons banded together and armed for battle with Link as their leader. The Hylians are clearly not born soldiers, but maybe they can be upgraded over time. Link also wields a sword crafted from the Zonai Construct's horn. Link and Sidon battle a higher tier Zonai Construct according to the headwear it has. Sidon has the same blue glow that Tulin had prior in the trailer. Also, the only reason that I assume that Zonai is a higher tier based on its headpiece is that it looks ornate and a lot more detailed compared to the other ones that we've seen so far. So it's an assumption, but I feel like it's a safe one. At 3 minutes 19 seconds, we see the 4 major races of Hyrule run/fly into battle, excluding the Hylians. Finally seeing Sidon's blue tear placed on his hand. I didn't catch where, but we know that Tulin and Riju have tears of their own. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that though. We also see a slight little piece of the Cobblebreaker sword flying into battle as well. We don't know who that is. We know that Yunobo, if that's how you pronounce his name, Yunobo, from Breath of the Wild, was the successor for the champion, but based on his demeanor, we were not sure if he took up that role. Didn't really seem like a fighter. Wouldn't be surprised if it was someone else. At 3 minutes 20 seconds, now we see that the crystal sword on Link's back looks really cool, but we have a fire Gleeok in front of us. So we're gonna focus on that. The fight looks like it's going to be absolutely insane. Also, based on the name literally being Fire Gleeok, we are safe-ish to assume that other elemental Gleeoks might exist somewhere else on the map. At 3 minutes 21 seconds, we see Zelda holding up an undamaged Master Sword, letting Link know that he is our final hope. At 3 minutes 26 seconds, behind the title card, we see drawings on the wall that display Ganondorf, fueled by malice, guiding his army into battle. And at 3 minutes 43 seconds, we see Zelda say, "Link, you must find me," looking up into a sky with no islands, meaning that Zelda is not only far away from Link, but no longer findable in his dimension or time. More on that soon. Now, with the trailer information itself out of the way, I want to get into some level of discussion. Predictions, theories that I've had, and this is definitely when I want to hear y'all's voice on what I have to say here. To start, as I mentioned earlier, we have some new information based on the Nintendo website. No, this is not any LEAKS. I am doing my best not to cover those. The world event, similar to the calamity that went on in Breath of the Wild, here is called the Upheaval, meant pretty literally by the upheaval of Hyrule Castle from the ground. I'm not sure if this occurs before or after Link and Zelda look to explore the underground to find Ganondorf's corpse, but we can assume it's after. Now, why did I mention time travel during the breakdown? Because I believe that Zelda is trapped in the distant past. After her fall, and her hand is clenched around her tear that we see on her neck later on with the recall symbol engraved onto it. The recall ability in its rawest form is time manipulation, being able to send things back from whence they came. It is possible that charged with her latent goddess magic, the recall stone was used to throw her back in time by a significant amount, far enough back to meet the Zonai people prior to them going into hiding. One of my biggest points of proof of this theory is that near the end of the trailer, when Zelda calls to the sky for Link to find her, there are no sky islands. That implies that wherever Zelda may be, this occurs prior to the upheaval. But clearly, based on her outfit and based on this being after their separation, this event is occurring after the upheaval in chronology with the in-game events. My standing theory is that Zelda will be communicating with Link from the distant past and setting up ways for him to repair the Master Sword that was destroyed by malice with help from the ancient Zonai people. Now, it should be playable in any capacity, only time will tell. Another point of evidence for time travel in Tears of the Kingdom has to do with the green-skinned dragon that we see, and the woman that we see using the goddess abilities with long hair, long ears, similar to Zelda. I believe that these are ancient reincarnations of both the hero and Zelda, maybe even the original champion and goddess that Hylia bestowed her will onto, this being a lore piece that we get from the intro of Skyward Sword. My reasoning for believing in this is shown in the trailer. Specifically, Zelda's piece gives a lot more credence to Link's piece. Zelda being able to use the goddess abilities to repel back the sand seals, very similar to Zelda's abilities. The Link example we see doesn't necessarily do what Link does, but the champions with tears that show up behind him, and the fact that they're both shown within a similar time space in their shots makes them feel related in that way. We also see this Link representative seems to be a dragon. Dragons being creatures that were always very close to the goddess and always known to be very powerful. It wouldn't surprise me if the goddess Hylia had bestowed the combat combative power, the combative role to repel evil to a dragon that she knew. This is all really more so in defense that that dragon creature with the Sheikah symbol on his face that was not missed is a version of Link. The Zelda incarnation is pretty clear. Blonde hair, long ears, similar outfit to what Zelda has when they're stuck in the past, and a full display of the powers. The real defense to be made is for the dragon creature that I think is Link. Now, the other big elephant in the room here is Ganondorf, or what we can assume to be also Ganondorf with the long red mane. I've seen a lot of people suggest that this is DEMISE. I am not fully convinced, but I can see how that's thought. With all these future past themes, it could be a shot from DEMISE in the past, but it could also be maybe the first incarnation of Ganondorf. That could look very similar to DEMISE. That transformation could be incredibly close. It could also be a transformation of our modern day Ganondorf into more of a beastly figure that is similar to DEMISE, because from what we see from that shot from behind, we see a little bit of a horn, we see the craggly skin that looks very similar to DEMISE. DEMISE has a very, very, very definitive look. We can also see that Ganondorf has been to work since he's returned. He's covered all of the existing shrines in pools of malice. He has given cataclysms to all the different divine beasts. Anything that he feels could stop him in his escapades, he has tried to put a plug on. Also, found in footage more recently, since the trailer's been out for over a week now, we see some assumed to be past footage of Zelda with the Master Sword damaged by malice. Could this mean that Link is maybe sending the Master Sword off to Zelda to repair with the Zonai in the past? That's what it looks like it might be, especially with that short snippet that was released on Twitter a while back of Link presenting the Master Sword in front of this golden plateau. That could very well be him relinquishing the Master Sword to the past Zelda in order to start repairs on it. Either way, this video is getting too long, so that's all I have to say for now. But if you enjoyed the content, if you enjoyed me, if you enjoy the Zelda franchise, please feel free to subscribe, follow, like the video. Let me know down in the comments below anything that I missed, anything you want to add, or if you just want to talk about Zelda, I'm here for it. The hope is to have more Zelda videos, Zelda ideas, Zelda theories out before Tears of the Kingdom drops, but streaming every 3D Zelda has proven to be a timely task. And as of this recording, we're currently on Twilight Princess, so if you want to stop by the stream on twitch.tv/dinnerpants to come hang out there, feel free to do so. It's been Dinner Pants. I love y'all. Have an amazing rest of your whatever time it is. Be good to each other. Doses. God, I cannot wait to be absolutely addicted to this game.